Hey, what's up, guys? Zander from the movie stand.
Max from the movie stand.
We run that last time. Try not to do it this time, but we did it anyways.
Uh-oh.
We just got out of seeing Hellboy 2019 with David Harbour, not Ron Perlman, not Guillermo del Toro, none of those castmates returning besides none of the characters returning besides Hellboy.
Yeah.
It felt interesting. It was very actiony, and the story went on some loose tangents.
Yeah, if I could explain it like this, there was some really cool action, some very crazy gore. I like the monster designs, of course. I always talk about that. But I'd say the story was... It was lacking. Go ahead. I didn't want to, spill the beans too much, but let's just say the climax was really underwhelming. Yeah. Super underwhelming.
It was mostly all practical effects for the characters and stuff. I saw a featurette on that they released. And then we got an Abe Sapien tease at the end. We got Lobster Dude. I don't know Hellboy lore too much.
I don't know anything about
so I'm sorry, huge Hellboy fans. Yeah. I really enjoyed what Del Toro did with those two movies. I don't know much beyond that. That's something I had to research. I had to learn some Hellboy. I don't know. Then they had the whole giant hunting, and then there was no giants, and then Hellboy was attacked, and then there was giants.
Yeah, it was like the...
it was such a random thread.
Yeah, like the Osiris Society was like, hey, we need you. No, we don't.
We're gonna kill you.
Die. Oh, no, we are dead now. And then the giants were like, we want to kill you. And then Hellboy was like, no. And then they died.
It was a movie.
It jumped a lot, and, I mean, some of the action
intro was awful. The very first intro, it's like, blah, 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 curse words!
Yeah, fuck you!
It's like, we're R-rated, we're horror!
Yeah, I got this, the thing is, I got this vibe, it's just like the DMC remake, or reboot, where they just feel like, oh, we could use swear words, that means we're cool now.
I mean, I only really felt it in that first section.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know. I think Hellboy's always been like that.
Hellboy's always, the whole comics, I think, to my knowledge, has always been like that. But that intro, I'm like, really? Within the first, sentence or two, you're dropping, you're using the full extent of your R rating? Okay, I didn't really need it for a history background. Maybe that's Hellboy. Maybe they do exposition in, those yellow text boxes from Marvel and stuff. Yeah. Maybe they use that. Maybe use curse words in that. I don't know. It felt like a strange thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I like the setup of, King Arthur and Nimue.
That even felt forced. There were some camera shots in there. I was just like, what? They did a speed up on Arthur when they introduce him. So they're here and they're like...
Yeah, I don't get why they did that. I felt some of the cinematography was weird, but I don't know, I just like the monsters and the King Arthur myth. When
we were introduced to Hellboy and he's showing up to that luchador ring, I thought of the comic, I think it's Hellboy in Mexico. I've done some Hellboy research, and I know somewhat of the comics, but I don't know everything. I mentioned that. And there's some Hellboy in Mexico stuff. I was like, I get those vibes from it.
Yeah.
The design of Hellboy I really liked. But that's hard to go wrong.
Yeah, you can't really mess that up now that it's more of an iconic
you probably
look.
could if you didn't go practical.
Yeah, if you're dumb.
I don't know. The villain was decent.
Yeah, she was alright. I mean, she had power, but I mean, it just, there was no payoff to that.
There was no story.
To her.
And in the trailers, they had those huge monsters that was like...
Oh god, yeah, I'm about to go on it. I'll finish what you're gonna say, because I'm about to go off.
I liked Alice, or whatever, Allison, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
The medium?
Yeah, she was cool.
She was good.
Then you got that random dude. They basically... I don't know, it just felt like a shell, and I'm going from the Del Toro things, it felt like a shell of those.
Yeah.
And people loved those movies. It wasn't David Harbour's fault. It felt like the writing that wasn't there and the story wasn't there. There was a bunch of jumping around with where the story wants to go. Nothing was solid, and for a 2-hour and 1-minute movie, including credits, it didn't get its footing till after the second act.
Yeah, and here, I'm about to just say, that climax... wasn't a climax. You see, you got all these big demons, they're impaling people, cutting them in half, taking their heads, all that's happening. And you expect, oh, maybe Hellboy's gonna fight these guys.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
Maybe there's gonna be some huge battle.
Bigger than the giant battle.
Yeah, bigger than the giant battle, which he could do. And all it ends in is Hellboy just cleaving, like, Nimue in half.
But I didn't hate that.
No, I mean, I don't hate that either, but what I hated was that literally once she's dead, everything just gets sucked back in. It's
he let go of the sword and everything got sucked back in.
I know, but still, like, come on. That would have been so cool to see, like, this really big fight scene.
Well,
they built it up so much,
But it was also a character climax, and I really enjoyed that. You got a lot of character from everyone in that scene. Not everyone, but, like, Nimue, Hellboy, and his father, his adopted father. You just got a lot of connection with everyone there, and I really enjoyed that payoff. That was probably one of the better parts of the movie for me.
Yeah,
the whole monster thing was like, oh, he could have done something with that.
I feel like they just wasted a big opportunity. I'm not saying that the character development was bad. I'm just saying that they could have, done both.
But you couldn't, because you couldn't. You could, yes, I understand what you're saying, but you really couldn't in terms of, like, just story. There wasn't enough time to take care of that, because then he would have to leave, but he couldn't leave because he was in his, like, oh, I'm going to kill all human state. So you had to have him there. You still had to, you couldn't have him leave the church. That narrative could not have happened.
Why couldn't he have left afterward?
Because all those creatures were gone. Because they went back to hell.
Look, regardless, I thought it was a waste. I thought the character development was fine. I felt the climax wasn't really a climax. It just didn't.
The whole movie wasn't a movie. It
didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right about this movie. They had its enjoyable moments. I enjoyed the action. Some of the humor was all right, but I feel like it kept getting to places and then not going anywhere. It's like, oh, we have this happening. Okay, that's the end of that.
There was a lot of cool moments, and that could have just been developed on. And
moments with no payoff.
Exactly, and that's the thing that Toro does. He did really good with characters and actually having character conversations continue through the movie. I remember in Golden Army, Hellboy and what's her face, Liv, or whatever his girlfriend's name was, and they're like fighting, but like they were fighting before they went to this mission, and they were fighting during the investigation of the mission. Like, they continued that story going all the way through. I was like, oh, this is nice. I like this. You just didn't get anything like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, here's a thing, bye-bye thing.
Yeah,
here's another thing. Oh, see ya.
The only thing that stayed was Hellboy realizing that he's more than that. He doesn't ever want to be like the Prince of Hell or whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't want to become like a monster. Like when he was reaching for Excalibur the first time, he saw the vision in his, like, what he would become, and he was like, nope.
Yeah, that was such a shoe, and him being a descendant of Arthur. I'm like, okay, I go with it. I don't know the comics. Maybe that's what it is in the comics, and I just have no clue. But it just was like, what? Yeah. I don't know what you're doing there. And then Merlin's like, I used the last of my magic. I was like, but aren't you destined to live forever?
Yeah, but I think he used up too much magic. But I'd say, like,
the gore was great in this movie. I mean, that was really good. The violence was good. That's weird to say, but it's true. It was a nice watch, I guess. The creatures, I don't know. It just felt like a shell of just the previous two movies.
It was just...
And yes, it's a reboot, but it's just like, what?
It was flair without substance, that's all I gotta say.
There was some substance, but not enough to be like, oh,
not enough for me to be like, yeah, this warrants a sequel.
Here's the thing, if you got a different writer, I think everyone involved, cast-wise, and returning with a better writer, I think that could happen.
Yeah, or bring Del Toro back if he's up for it.
I don't think he wants to touch it. I really don't think he wants to touch Hellboy again. Because he would want to do it with Perlman. I don't know. And that's also dead in the water. I think he's moved on past that time in his life. He doesn't want to touch Hellboy again. From just my guess. I mean, Abe Sapien, I really liked what he did with him in the first two movies. And I was kind of bummed when Abe wasn't in this movie, but I'm so glad he wasn't, because Abe is a slower character. He's not, like, from what I understand, not a super action character. He can do some stuff, but he's more scientific.
Right.
And again, all my understanding comes from Del Toro stuff, and I like what he did. I mean, so I hope they get a different writer. I'm not gonna say better writer. it probably will. It could be a better writer, but maybe this writer just needs to figure out how to
flesh things out.
Yeah, or just like carry threads through.
Yeah, because I feel like there just wasn't enough things. It's kind of like a spider's web. This was the weakest spider web. Because nothing was staying together. It was just like, thing, no.
The only thing that stayed together was Hellboy.
Yeah, he was like the part of the web that somehow stuck together, but everything else, it was just like shambling down.
Yeah.
There was, here's action, but let's move on to the next thing. Here's some backstory. No, let's go to the next thing. It's just, it felt like there was things that could have been great. But they missed the mark on so many that it ended up... I mean, I enjoyed it, but I felt like, overall, it was a letdown.
I want to see a sequel, though, and I want to see them...
I want to see them do a sequel and hopefully do it better.
Out of 5 stars, what do you give it? I give it 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I feel that's a fair. I'd say highest 3, the lowest maybe a 2.5. 3 at best, 2.5 at worst. So,
if you had to give it a definite one. Just theoretical definite. 2.7?
Yeah, 2.7. That's what I was going to say, you know what? Yeah, average to 2.7. I mean, it's still... There's fun moments, but I feel like it was not what it could have been.
Yeah, I agree. Give me a different writer, give me maybe a different director, and make a sequel, because I think there's potential there with the cast. Thank you for watching. Zander for the Movie Stand, Max for the Movie Stand. We'll see you next time in a Movie Stand release thing.
Yeah.
Outros.
We'll see what we can do.